Hello, everybody. It's great to be here today. My name's Amy Burnett, and my business is Nutty Videos, and I work with individuals and organisations and businesses to help them excel at using video so that they can connect really effectively with their online audience. So I've been in the visual communications business for 15 to 20 years now. Initially in photography, then moving into video, and I absolutely love what I do. And it, as we know, especially now, it has become really a really essential part of everyday working life for all of us. Some of us might not like that. Maybe we're not so keen on video, but it's really important that we all embrace it and really, do our best to do as much of it as we can, really, because it can do great things for us and our businesses. So I'm going to share with you today why it is you need to be using video, and just looking really at some ways that you can do this, and just giving you an idea of what you could be doing, really. So I am going to share my screen with you, and let's hope that this is going to work. Should do. There we go. Let's have a look if I can get Keynote up there. And we are going to play that. So there we are. Fantastic. So, yes. Why am I here telling you that you should be doing video? Certainly right now, video, I mean, it's just more important than ever. But to be honest, even over the last few years, going right back to sort of 5-6 years ago, some businesses, the early adopters, really started to get hold with video, and they have benefited hugely from it. So, but right now it's even more important because there's so many more people online. We're all stuck in our homes. I'm sure all of you have been on Zoom or Skype or Microsoft Teams or your video calling software of choice, a million times by now. It's something that we're getting really used to, which is great. Though some of us might not be getting so used to it. But it's really important that you do try and do that. So we're just going to have a look at why is it video is so important. So let's have a little look. We're going to kick off with a video. Obviously, seems the obvious choice. So I'm just going to press play here, and I'm going to tell you that our brains process visuals 60,000 times faster than text. We can get the sense of a visual scene in 1/10 of a second. So it's not surprising that video has become such a vital tool for our business. And there I am at the end there. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? So that is why video works so well. It's the way that our brains are wired. So a few statistics for you to back all of this up. I wanted my beepy thing, but the battery's gone, so I'm having to press on my laptop. So 80% of all internet traffic is video. Over 80% of everything that's uploaded, downloaded is video content, which is a huge part of everything that we're communicating, essentially. And it just shows that is what people, that's how people want to be communicated with. 2.6. So if you have a video on your website, on average, people will stay on that page 2.6 times longer. Or sorry, they'll stay on your website 2.6 times longer than they would if you didn't have a video. So you are over doubling the amount of time that your visitor is spending with your brand. You're giving yourself double the time to make that connection with you, with your brand, with your offerings, to really, really draw them in. And on top of that, you are doing wonders for your SEO, because Google loves it when people spend more time on your website. So the more time people spend there, the higher Google's going to rank you. So that in itself is a fantastic reason to get a video on your website. 1,200%. Now that's a huge number. And that is on average how many more times videos are shared compared to text and images, static images. So again, just proof that that's what people want to see. You know, it's videos that people are sharing over 1,200% times more than text and image alone. That is a really great statistic. And here's an even bigger number. 1.5 billion. What could that be? What do you think it is? I wish I could see you all. You could put your hands up and have a guess. That is the number of hours of YouTube that is watched every single day. 1.5 billion. I mean, that is just a mega number, a ridiculous number. So yeah, again, just reinforcing how important video is in the lives of your average consumer today. It really isn't surprising that more and more businesses are using it. And then 19%. So 19%, if any of you have an email database, which I'm sure many of you will have, and you send out newsletters every month or maybe every 2 months, if you include the word video in the subject of your email, you will on average increase your open rate by 19%. Again, just showing you that video is something people are prepared to give time for. So some great numbers there, just to start, ease you into understanding what a difference video can make for your business. And if those amazing statistics weren't enough, we have Mr. Gary V. Some of you might be familiar with him, some of you might not. He's a bit like Marmite, love him or hate him. He's been using video for a long, long time. This quote is actually from 5 years ago. And as you can see, he says, if you're not making some kind of video content right now, you are losing, period, because he's American. But yeah, Gary Vaynerchuk has been using video for a long, long time. He's one of the most, he's hugely successful serial entrepreneur. And he does a lot of video, and it has worked amazingly for him. He's built up a huge following, and he really understands the power of it. And also, it's not just hugely successful entrepreneurs and famous people that understand the power of video. I've run some workshops, and some of the attendees of the workshops that have actually embraced video. Not everyone does, sadly, but those that have gone away and really embraced it and given it a go and post it regularly see results. And you can see here on one of my little WhatsApp groups, you can see Caroline, the lovely Caroline Lamont, has posted video. She did 2 posts, and she's compared the reach and the engagements with the standard sort of text post or text and image post, and then the video post. And you can see there, I mean, the engagement on the video is much, much higher. And a few more people reached, and that was not long after she posted it, actually. So I'm sure it got more and more. And then you can see Jane afterwards has said that she's found the same. So, it really does work, people. It really, really does work. Anyway, and I'm sure some of you are sitting there kind of saying, yes, we know, we're doing loads of video already. So that is fantastic. So there we are. Now, why is it that video has these success rates? Why is it that I'm sat here telling you to do it? Why are these statistics so big? Why are people finding all this success with it? Well, there's a number of reasons. And one of those is that on social media, on a busy feed, when you're sort of got, I don't know, a 10-minute tea break and you're scrolling through your feed, you're just like, blah, 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 blah. Video is great just for capturing attention. A moving image is much, much more likely to capture somebody's attention than a static image. It's sort of simple as that. Because on video as well, not only can you have a sort of a photograph, or a sort of an image of a live place, you can have text, you can have animated images, there's all sorts of things you can add into your video to really capture attention. So that's a really big one for using video on social media. And ultimately, it makes sharing that information with your audience much easier and entertaining for them. So when we're all running around trying to do a million things these days, though maybe not so much running around right now, actually, but we're still busy people, and we've only got a certain amount of time. So when we do share our precious time with allowing a business to come into our lives through social media or through a website or whatever, we want it to be easy for us. So we might not necessarily be prepared to sit and read some text for 20 minutes, but we sure will press play and listen to somebody entertain us via a video for a couple of minutes. So it's all about making it easy. People want things to be easy for them. I know I certainly do. And who doesn't like being entertained? It's a no-brainer. Okay, another thing, you can get much more information across in less time. So if you imagine that, ultimately it takes longer to read than it takes to listen to audio. People can speak at a much faster rate than people will read. And also, it gives us the opportunity to include a mix of elements into our branding. So we can mix in music, we can mix in, I've already said, text, we can have stills, we can have real-time video like this, we can, there's so much we can get in information-wise, because all those other little things, the little bits, maybe a graphic or two, your logo, and the music, it says so much about your brand. You're getting all of this extra information across in much, much less time. And getting all of that extra information across about your brand and your business and you, essentially, it's, if you're a small business owner, if you're a solopreneur, sole trader, whatever you want to call yourself, if that's you, then ultimately this is getting more of you across. So, and what that does is that enables people to build deeper connections with you and your brand. And that's really, really important. Now, for anyone that remembers the old Heineken advert, my take on it is video connects with the parts of the brain that other media fails to reach. Now, only people of a certain age will connect that with, but most of you probably have never heard of Heineken, but there was an old advert that said about a beer that says, reaches the parts other beers can't reach. But this is what video does. It reaches parts of the brain that other media cannot reach. It's been scientifically proven that when we receive information using visual as well as audio, our brains work in a very different way, and they actually embed things. It embeds information in much more effectively and is easier for the person to recall as well. So it means that our brands and our businesses and our offerings and we are easier to remember. Now, isn't that the goal for all of us? Isn't that what we're all about? We want people to remember us. That's the essential part of being a business. Remember us. Come back to us when you need our product. They're going to think, yes, I'm going to go to her. So that essentially, those points there are why video really, really works. It's all about making it easy in less time and building those connections, all about the connections. So yeah, that's why you really, really need to embrace it. So moving on, the first thing, if you've got to the point where you're thinking, you know, I think I'm going to give this a go. I think I'm going to create some video content to put out there. The first thing that you should be thinking is, what platform am I going to be using? What platform is it going to be on? Because the platform dictates quite a number of things, actually. So you wouldn't necessarily put the same video on YouTube as you would on Instagram, because it just wouldn't work. It just wouldn't work at all. You wouldn't put the same video on Instagram as you would LinkedIn, maybe. Although, having said that, LinkedIn stories are actually coming along soon, so who knows? But anyway, so you've got to think about where you're putting it. Now, where you're putting it dictates, or should dictate, obviously your content. What is it you're saying? Who's your audience? Because you might have different audiences on your different platforms. Your LinkedIn audience is going to be very different to your Instagram audience, who might be quite different to your Facebook audience. So it's going to dictate your content. What is it you want to say to these people, or how are you going to say it? I think I'm supposed to be on the next slide. Yes, there we go. So content. So it's going to dictate your content. It's also going to dictate the duration of your video. So Instagram, classic example, on the grid, you can only have 60 seconds. On stories, I know you're supposed to only have 15 seconds, but everyone links it all together, so you can have as long as you like. And then you've got IGTV, which you can, I can't remember how much, maybe 10 minutes, something like that. And then on Facebook, depends if you're going live. I mean, there's so many things to take into consideration. Generally, if you're going on a live in a group, then people, you know, you've got an interested following there already. People are already prepared to give you time, so you can go for longer in there. Maybe on your Facebook business page, you might want to stick to a couple of minutes. On LinkedIn, maybe you just want to stick to a couple of minutes. If it's something for YouTube, you know, and you're sharing loads of tips and stuff, you can, you know, maybe you'd want to go on for half an hour, because people are searching for you on YouTube. YouTube is essentially, it's the world's second largest search engine. You know, people are searching there for something. So they're really already invested in what it is you want to share with them. They're looking for it specifically. So you can, you know, upload videos. It's a ridiculously long limit on YouTube. It's something like 4 hours or something crazy. But I wouldn't recommend doing video for 4 hours. Probably not a good idea. But yes, so duration. The platform will affect the duration your video should be. Format. So what media are you going to use to create this video? Because there's more to videos than just talking to the camera. I mean, talking to the camera, videos where you're talking to the camera are so powerful, especially for those deep connections. I'd say they're essential for any business. I don't care about the size of the business. It's not just sole traders. It's not just small businesses. The huge organizations should be doing this as well. Some of them are very successfully, but it's not that there are other videos you can create, which actually I'm going to talk about in a minute. So, you know, you might use something else. You might use animation, for example. You might use, what else might you use? My brain's completely gone. But there are other things which I'm going to cover in a minute, so you'll find out then. The other thing that your platform is going to dictate is whether you're going to create your video vertical or landscape. Now, you see, as somebody whose job it is to create video, as a professional video person, I much, much, much prefer landscape. Landscape, if you think about it, you know, RTVs, a landscape, cinema screens, landscape. And there's a reason for this. And that is because that's how our eyes see in real life. We have landscape vision. It's, you know, that's how our eyes work. So the most natural and the most comfortable way of viewing is a landscape video. However, since the birth of social media on phones, vertical video has become quite a thing, because it fills up more of the feed. So you do see lots of people, especially if you're talking to the camera on your own, you fill up more of the frame when you film vertically. So it kind of makes sense to use that, and that's great, and lots of people doing it and it works. So, but it does depend where you're doing it. Like, for example, you wouldn't do a vertical video on YouTube anyway. So that's why the first question that you ask yourself is, what platform is this going to go on? And then, you know, think about these things. Right. So we're going to very quickly look at content, because I know this is where a lot of people struggle. But actually, you've all got so much more to share than you probably believe you have, or realize you have. I think especially now, right now, you don't want to look like you're kind of pushing sales. I know a lot of people, and it's it's such a shame, because a lot of people feel like that they shouldn't be seen to be selling at the moment. They shouldn't. They're feeling that they shouldn't be seen to be making money out of what's going on, and they're understanding that people's financial situations maybe aren't what they were before. So people are thinking, well, I can't talk about my packages, I can't talk about my offerings, I can't talk about my promotion. Da, da, da. So what can you talk about? Well, ultimately, even out of lockdown, even before lockdown or whatever, there's so much that you could have been sharing anyway. And here's a little list, which are just a few things that I always recommend to people. So starting from the top, you and your why, your passion, why is it you're doing what you do? People love to hear the passion behind your business, because essentially all businesses start with a passion, don't they? So what is it? Why did you start? People love to hear about that. And also it makes them realize that actually they're probably going to get quite a good service from you, because you're passionate about what you do and you care about what you do. Anyway, so you and your why, how to and top tips, just share knowledge. People love to be given free information, essentially. Share what you know. How to's and top tips, just always a key thing for content. And I'm sure loads of you do this anyway. I'm probably teaching you all to suck eggs here, but the how-tos are just always a good idea. And meet the team. If you've got more than you in your business, get everyone else on camera as well, or even your dog that sits next to you in your office. Whoever it is, get someone else on the camera. You can look at what's going on in your industry right now, market overview, industry news, what's happening there. Share some stuff. That shows that you know exactly what's going on. Shows that you're the expert. That's what this is all about as well, is showing that you're the expert in what you do. So industry news is a great one for that, as is the next one, product reviews and new equipment. So if you work with any equipment or gear, like if I was to get a new microphone or a new camera or new whatever, I could talk about that and explain how it's benefiting me and just do a quick review. Again, makes me look like I know what I'm talking about. And then moving on from that, recommending another business, it's a really caring thing to do. I love to do it, and people like to see you do it as well. talking about another business that has helped you or has helped someone else that you know, company announcements, milestones, you know, company's birthday, or we've helped X amount of clients in the last year or whatever, you know, anything like that is always great to share. And then what I always say to people is, if you're really stuck and you just can't think of what to do, think of the top 10 questions that people ask you. What are the top 10 things that you get asked about my business? So for me, a lot of the time I get asked, how long should my videos be? I get asked, well, I've already talked about this, should I shoot landscape or vertical? I get asked, so it's just sort of like thinking about those things. And you can just do a little video on each one. I mean, all of this stuff, you can do it as written content as well. It doesn't have to be video. This is just content ideas for any media, but they would work really well on video also. And then the last one, A to Z, is if you can, a real challenge would be coming up with the A to Z of your business, and doing 26 little videos. But that's for when, well, maybe lockdown is the time for that. So I was about to say that's when you've got loads of time. Anyway, so that's covered content. I hope you've got some ideas from that. Right, now we are going to take a very quick look. I mentioned formats before. So looking at, I'm just hoping, I thought there was another slide there. I'm hoping that the next is going to be on the next slide instead. But anyway, we'll go with this one first. So formats, so different ways of using video. Rather, maybe you're not just recording with your smartphone or recording with Zoom. Maybe you want to do something a bit more creative. Now, you know, slightly more creative videos work really well on Instagram specifically, because Instagram was created for visuals. Ultimately, Instagram is the visual, the sort of visual master of the social media platforms. So stop motion here is a really good example of something that would work well on Instagram. And what stop motion is, before there is a link there that I'm going to click on and show you, but it's a series, it's like the stop motion animation. So it's a series of photographs that you string together to make a video. And you can do some really fun stuff, specifically if you have products. If any of you have got a business there that sells products that you either make or you buy in, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you've got products, you can do some, especially small products, you can do some great things with stop motion. And I'm going to show you an example here. This was created by a lady that came onto one of my workshops, and she is she reviews food, like a food critic, I guess, restaurant critic. And she has created, well, she's done loads of these now actually, but this is just one example of something that she's created, which is little puddings going around in a circle and then going off camera. And things like that work brilliantly on Instagram without you even getting in front of the camera. So, I mean, there's loads more great examples which I could show you, but I'm not going to, because I could just, go on with stop motion forever, because it's really, really good fun. Now I need to get Keynote back, so I'm going to go over here. So that's stop motion. Time lapse is so easy, and it's something that I feel I don't see enough of on social media, because it's the easiest thing in the world to create, and essentially it's just speeded up video. So you've all got it on your phone. When you go into the video, there's a sort of, instead of just the normal record button, there's a time-lapse option, and you just press that, and what it does is it will shrink, say, 5 minutes of footage down into 20 seconds or something. So it's speeded up. So I'm going to give you an example here. I think this is an example of me actually. Is it going to show? Yeah, here we go. So this is when I was setting up for a shoot. So it's just a kind of this, I've used it here for a behind the scenes sort of video, which is great for somebody like me, who people always wonder, what's it going to be like, you know, if I get a video shoot, what's going to happen? What is it going to look like? And so this is a really, really great example of how to use it, actually. I'll just turn that off now. Another way of using it is going to events. People use it to, you know, setting up for an event, or just anything, any kind of process where, you know, normally it would take too long for you to put a video of it on social media. So yeah, it just, any kind of process that gives you some sort of insight to your business. Like, I think the feedback that I got from Caroline on that slide I showed you, I think she said she'd use time lapse for cooking, which is, yeah, a great idea. Just anything, you know, and it's so easy, and it just creates a little bit of interest on social media. There we go. Right, I'm going to stop raving on about time lapse and stop motion. They're just two ideas for you to how to mix up your formats so that it's not just you talking to camera all the time. And then this is the slide I was hoping for. So this is a kind of well, it's a video created using a platform called the platform that this was used for this video is called Biteable. There are other video creating platforms out there. There's Animatron, there's Wave, there's Magisto or something. And what they do is they use professional stock footage, just like you've got your stock photography with Pexels and Pixabay and stuff like that. You can get stock video. It's normally extremely expensive, but if you subscribe to one of these platforms, you can actually create astonishingly professional video by stringing their little clips together and adding in some stuff. Now, I'm going to show you this one. This was created by somebody that I know who runs an RTT business. It's like hypnotherapy. And she knows nothing about video. She had never created a video before, and she wanted something to explain what she does. And she created this. I'm going to play the whole thing for you so you can get an idea. Hopefully you're going to be able to hear it. I'm going to make sure that my computer's turned up so that you can hear it. I'll turn my mic round as well, actually. So that was pretty good, huh? Oh no, it's going to start playing it again. No, don't do that. That's because it's come to the end of the thing. Anyway, so that was, yeah, created by somebody with absolutely no experience of video whatsoever, using a platform. I mean, how amazing is that? I mean, it's just absolutely fantastic. Now, Biteable costs, I think, around about £300 a year. So, in my opinion, if you're going to create 1 or 2 videos a month, oh my God, that is just such good value. That is just amazing value. Anyway, again, it's just another example of a different format that you can use where you're not using your sort of standard video on a smartphone to create just you talking to camera or whatever. Right, so that is I'm going to stop screen sharing now. Stop share, and I'm back with you. Hello. So yeah, I'm leaving it there for now. I think that's probably a fair bit for you guys to take on board. I hope that I've persuaded you all that you should all be getting creative and essentially, yeah, entertaining your sorry, that little ding from my computer's totally put me off. It's entertaining your online audience and connecting with your online audience, because that essentially is what you're doing. You're embedding yourself in their brains, which is what you want to do. My experience, I know I've spoken about other formats and everything, but there is no getting away from talking to camera is really important, really, really, really important. And it's the easiest kind of video that you could ever possibly think to make. And it's going to get you, it's a fast track to know, like, and trust. That KLT that everybody talks about, talking to the camera is a fast track for that, because it gives your audience the opportunity to say, oh my God, really connect with her. Really feel like there's, she's, people just get you. It gives you the opportunity for your audience to get you, or alternatively not get you, so they can just think, nah, she's not for me, because we're not everybody's cup of tea. So it's a fast track to enabling your viewer to make that decision and to really, really build those deep connections with you. It can be a scary thing to do if you haven't done it before. As somebody who's normally on the other side of the lens, when I first started filming myself, I found it hugely uncomfortable. It just kept putting it off, really didn't want to do it. However, I forced myself to do it. And I forced myself to do it again and again and again and again. And you know what? I actually really enjoy doing it now. It's actually really good fun. And yes, we always make mistakes when we're pre-recording things. Yes, you always end up doing about 5 takes or whatever, because you feel that you're not getting it good enough. But you know what? It's fun. It ends up being fun. And what it's actually done for me personally is I've found it's really, really helped my confidence, because I've just grown to accept that I am what I'm seeing on the screen. Not that I had any major issues before or anything, but what I've just found is that I kind of care less now about what people think. I'm much more confident, not only on screen, but just walking into a room full of people, I'm much more confident. So it's been a real journey for me, and I think that could be the same for anybody. So just a real top line guide when you're filming. Think about light. Okay, light is super, super, super important, as is your audio. Please make sure that you're somewhere quiet and that you can't hear kids or dogs or whatever. I say that. Have you heard my kids or dogs in the background? Hopefully you haven't. But yeah, make sure that you've got quite, quiet surroundings. And think about your background a bit. It doesn't have to be completely professional, but just make sure there's no piles of washing or whatever. Because it's important, it doesn't have to look professional, but it has to put across the right image for your business, if that makes sense. People know that you're not a professional videographer, but at the same time, and so they're very accepting, especially right now. People are extremely forgiving of, videos not quite being super, super top class, because everyone's understands the situation right now. And that will probably carry on. People have got a bit more relaxed with it. But at the same time, remember that it is your business you're putting out there. So do try and get it to a certain level. Anyway, that's it from me. It's been an absolute pleasure being here with you ladies. And I will hopefully see you again at some point on a screen near you, coming soon. I say a lot. I've realized this is another thing video does for you, is it makes you realize what you actually say. And I know I say an awful lot when I'm talking. Hopefully I haven't done that too much today. So yes, just get out, get filming, enjoy it, go on a journey with it. And yeah, hopefully I'll see some of your videos on social media. All right, so take care, enjoy the sunshine, and yes, stay safe. See you later.